What's up everybody, 40 the Broadway Saiyan here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, where I'm bringing you guys another video on Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia. So for this video guys, we're going to be talking about the next upcoming Lost Chapters, going live soon on Global Opera Omnia, which is going to be featuring the return of ALPHINAUD from Final Fantasy XIV. Joining ALPHINAUD as synergy for this particular Lost Chapters is going to be Ida, and also going to be Celeste. Something to note is that this particular Lost Chapters will not be featuring any character reworks. However, the banner itself is going to be featuring the debut of ALPHINAUD's EX weapon alongside its realization. It's going to be featuring the return of Ida's EX weapon alongside its realization, and also going to be featuring the return of ALPHINAUD, Ida, and Celeste's 15 and 35 CP weapons. The boss that we're going to be seeing for this particular Lost Chapters for the Chaos difficulty is going to be the return of those glow lizards, those Iguyon type enemies that have some sort of a resonance where, you know, they like buff up their defenses and they have high brave damage reduction that they apply to themselves, and essentially you got to break them out of it, so then that way you can actually continue to push the offense. So we're going to be talking about the EX realizations, because that's going to be the new feature that we're going to be seeing for this particular Lost Chapters, whether or not this banner is going to be worth your tickets and gems, and we're also going to be touching up on the actual Chaos difficulty boss fight. Before I start with the video, I do always want to give a big thanks and shout out to Rem and the Dissidia DB for all that they do with the information that is provided in this video, as well as the awesome Dissidia database, and also to the Tonberry Troop, because they have those lovely infographics summarizing what these characters can do and kind of giving you an idea of how to play them properly. And I also want to give a big thanks to as well to the Final Fantasy TCC podcast. Those guys are amazing. I love listening to their podcast. They do stream on Twitch every Thursday, and those guys just have a wealth of knowledge to help out new and veteran players alike. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the upcoming ALPHINAUD Lost Chapters in Global Opera Omnia. Obsidian! Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and talk about ALPHINAUD and Ida's EX realizations. In particular for ALPHINAUD, we're going to start off first with his base EX, because it is a brand new EX weapon, and then we'll talk about its realization. So if you guys are unfamiliar with this character, because maybe you're a newer player or you missed out on getting ALPHINAUD when he first came out, in a nutshell, what he was an offensive magic damage dealer with a command called Moonstone from his skill 1, where he essentially summons, Carbuncle, and he would have this special icon on his head. And while that was active, he would essentially raise the party's max brave. The effects applied as an aura, and then also reduce the amount of brave damage that they take. And it would also change the properties of his brave and HP attacks, which gave him some pretty good longevity. This guy was known as like one of those 35 CP legends, because his base kit on its own with just his 15 and 35 CP was already pretty solid. It was already pretty good. And then afterwards, his skill 2, he does some magic brave plus HP attacks, and then afterwards he heals the party's HP. So very, very versatile unit for being a magic supporter, magic offensive supporter, whatever you want to call it. The downside is if he got broken, the Moonstone icon would disappear, but the cool thing about his skill 1 Moonstone is that when he reapplies it, it doesn't take up a turn or anything like that. So that was the cool thing about it. You can just reapply it, and then he can continue on whatever he needed to do with his role. Now, when he gets his EX weapon, he is going to get the following upgrades. And remember, ALPHINAUD does not get a rework. There are no reworks present in this Lost Chapter. So his EX weapon is going to be equipping him with the EX ability called Obsidian Combination, which grants him the Obsidian icon for 4 turns, but does cancel out Moonstone. And what this does is, after he grants that to himself, he's going to be delivering a 6-hit AoE magic brave plus HP attack with an increased brave damage to a single target, with a brave overflow of 150%, dealing split HP damage equally between all targets, and will also be giving him some brave back based on 30% of the HP damage he deals. This EX ability, just at base alone with no realization, no action delay, does not increase turn count, except obviously for friend support or summon. That's pretty good already, because check out what Obsidian does. So while he has Obsidian active, he's going to be raising his max brave and attack. His brave attack becomes Sick Obsidian, which is a 5-hit AoE magic brave plus HP attack with an increased brave damage to a single target, dealing HP damage that's split equally amongst multiple enemies, and converts 30% HP damage dealt back to brave. So that's pretty solid right there. And then afterwards, his HP attack becomes Shining Obsidian. Now this is the selling point for me here, just at the base alone. 5-hit magic brave plus HP attack, 50% HP splash damage to non-targets, inflicts small defense down and poison on all enemies for 4 turns, and does not consume ability use on the next turn. So right after you use his HP attack command alone with Obsidian, his next turn gives him a free ability count. So free ability usage. That's pretty good already. Now, the downside is, just like Moonstone, Obsidian can get canceled out if ALPHINAUD is broken. The cool thing is that at least he's giving himself Brave back, which is always good. But ideally, you would want to run this guy with like a tank, so then that way he's not taking, unnecessary aggro outside of AoE attacks, so that he could keep his Brave up. You could benefit from the effects of Obsidian. Now, when you do limit break this weapon at base, he's going to be increasing the Brave damage he deals with Obsidian Combination. When he at 2 out of 3, as I feel like where it's most important for the base version of this weapon, because he's going to be getting access to Shadow Flare, which is another buff for 8 turns. And what this does is it raises his max Brave and attack further, and also lowers the enemy's speed, and essentially has a sap effect. It deals, or it has like a poison effect, not a sap effect. It deals Brave damage each turn, so that's actually pretty good. And then 3 out of 3, it's going to, increase the recast speed of this EX ability. It is slow, and then it becomes slightly slow, so not the fastest, but then again, because he has like, the no action delay, the free ability usage, building up to this is actually not too difficult, because you can take advantage of all these different features that ALPHINAUD has to keep himself going. Now, when you realize this weapon, at 0 out of 3, you're going to get the standard, EX ability upgrades, tremendous Brave damage potency increase alongside, a higher Brave overflow. At 1 out of 3, he's going to get that permanent increase to his max Brave and attack. At 2 out of 3, he's going to start the quest with Shadow Flare for 6 turns, and also he can cast his EX ability right from the start. So you use that EX ability, oh, guess what? No turn count, he gets another turn right away to do something else. So that's pretty cool. And then afterwards, at 3 out of 3, his EX ability now becomes a 4-hit AoE magic Brave plus HP attack executed twice. So we like that. 2 Brave plus HP attacks with another max Brave overflow increase. And then afterwards, it's going to be upgrading Sick Obsidian to its plus variant, which slightly raises the Brave potency and now also adds a 150% Brave overflow. And it's also going to be upgrading that Shining Obsidian, that HP attack command, to its plus variant, greatly increasing the Brave potency and also adding a 120% Brave overflow. And then the sphere that you unlock from this EX weapon is called Base Buff Success Base Attack All Short. It's a C-type sphere, and what this does is that after the equipped character grants a buff, they're going to be raising the party's initial Brave and attack by 5% for 3 turns. So the sphere itself, it's pretty good, for a buffer if they have that C slot. So overall, this is actually a pretty powerful EX weapon, especially when it's realized. I like how the EX ability essentially doesn't take up a turn count and allows ALPHINAUD to continue on, right from the get-go. And then just not to mention, the powerful ways that you could keep this character going. Imagine this: the rotation essentially would be, okay, you're going to use his EX ability, right? Because he gets to cast it right away if you have this at least 2 out of 3. And then afterwards, you're going to go into Shining Obsidian because he deals damage with that HP attack command. And then his next turn, he gets a free ability usage. So there's so many options for this character, to keep it going and not only support the party, but also take advantage of like turn shenanigans and free ability uses. So overall, excellent EX weapon for this character. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to Ida. So everyone should be pretty familiar with Ida. She's a story character. She deals melee damage. She can poison, yada, yada, yada. She got a rework. She got her rework during the actual ALPHINAUD event, which, greatly improved her usage because she was kind of a meme in the beginning. Her damage wasn't very high, and, she was lacking an EX weapon up until then. But with the return of her EX weapon alongside its realization, she's going to be getting the following upgrades. So at 0 out of 3, this is going to be a lot to take in. So when Greased Lightning is at 0, which is that little icon above her head, it's going to be raising her attack by 20%. Now, when it's also at 0, it's going to be restoring her Brave based on 120% of her initial Brave, and also raises her initial Brave by 80%, which is pretty good. It also increases the stolen Brave overflow limit by 20%. It also increases the Brave gain from her own abilities by 20%, and also extends the duration of any granted buff buffs and inflicted debuffs by 3 turns. That's just from coming from 0 out of 3 realization. And then afterwards, when she uses her EX ability Tornado Kick or Tornado Kick Plus, the Brave attack before the first HP attack becomes AoE. So now she has more opportunities to really cap up her Brave. It's going to be increasing the Brave potency of Tornado Kick by 130%. The Plus variant is increased by 90% and also increases her own Brave by 20% of the HP damage she deals after the first HP attack. So the first HP attack happens, she recovers herself some Brave and then deals some more damage. So pretty good just from 0 out of 3. And then afterwards at 1 out of 3, she's going to get that permanent increase to her attack and max Brave by 60%, which is pretty significant for a permanent increase. At 2 out of 3, it's going to further increase the recast speed of Tornado Kick by 10%. So now this EX ability will, it's going to come very frequently. And then when the quest starts, she's going to have, 5 turns of 60% attack up, 60% speed up, and 40% max Brave up. And she's also going to be increasing the special effect Grease Lightning by 1. So that's pretty good in itself right there at 2 out of 3. That's already pretty optimum right there. But let's move on to 3 out of 3. So 3 out of 3, Tornado Kick and its plus variant is going to become a 6-hit AoE melee Brave plus HP attack, plus another 6-hit melee Brave plus HP attack, with an increase of the total Brave damage potency by 60% for the base, 120% for the plus, and then afterwards deals 20% HP splash damage to non-targets. While she is buffed, her Brave Attack and Brave Attack Plus becomes Brave Attack Plus Plus, which is going to get 6 Brave hits, increases a total potency by 30% when compared to the Plus variant. It's going to have guaranteed critical hits when she's attacking an enemy not targeting herself. It's going to be lowering the action delay and also grants an additional turn when inflicting Break. So when she inflicts Break during an additional turn, it's not going to grant another, and also the additional turn does not increase the turn count. So she has the ability now to get some free turns out of this at 3 out of 3 with that Brave Attack Plus Plus, which is pretty cool. And then afterwards, Snap Punch is going to become Snap Punch Plus after she uses her after use, and then HP Attack and HP Attack Plus become HP Attack Plus Plus, which is going to be increasing her own Brave by 70% of attack before she actually attacks. And then she delivers a 2-hit melee Brave plus HP attack, increasing the total Brave potency by 40% with a 120% Brave overflow, guaranteed critical hits again when she's attacking an enemy not targeting her, low action delay, and also grants an additional turn when inflicting Break, just like her Brave Attack Plus Plus. Not to mention that her Snap Punch becomes Snap Punch Plus after usage. So that's pretty loaded right there coming off of her full EX realization. So Ida becomes a beast of a damage dealer when it comes to this realization. And then finally, she's going to be getting an A-type sphere unlocked when you fully realize and level up this weapon called Sneak Power. So when you're attacking an enemy not targeting self, it's going to be increasing the Brave damage you deal by 10%. So with this full realization, Ida is essentially another character that you would definitely want to run with a tank, so then she could definitely keep her damage going, especially with those guaranteed critical hits that she gets off of her Brave Attack Plus Plus and her HP Attack Plus Plus. So solid realization overall. So my thoughts on this banner. This is actually a really good banner. ALPHINAUD himself is, I'm going to say his kit's pretty loaded now with this upcoming EX realization, even with just the EX weapon at base. And Ida's no slouch either. Now, I know Ida is, primarily just a damage dealer, and damage dealers come a dime a dozen, but she's going to be I feel like she's going to be pretty underrated, because if you take a look at what her EX ability does at full realization, it's pretty good. And now she has a way to give herself, a free turn with that Brave Attack Plus Plus and HP Attack Plus Plus, which means better longevity. And then ALPHINAUD, man, the guy's loaded. Obsidian giving him, an EX ability, right on cast. If you can cast it, get Obsidian. And then afterwards, that HP attack command giving him a free ability usage. I mean, what's not to love on these characters, right? Now, the only issue that I have with this banner, even though it is a really good banner, is the banner right after it is Kais. And we all know, people have been talking about how powerful Kais is. Even up to now on JP, the character is still only at level 70 with an EX, he only has an EX plus weapon. He has no LD yet, and he's still being used for certain Lufenia stages just because of how powerful his mechanic is when he is setting up the launch. So my personal recommendation is when this banner comes out for ALPHINAUD and Ida for this Lost Chapters, wait until the Kais event comes out, because also ALPHINAUD will be synergy for that. I would pull for the Kais banner first, because that one is still the better banner overall. It's probably the best banner this month. And then if you have some resources left over and you're like, you know what? I think I want to throw some resources at a character who's also really good, then go ahead and go for this banner, because honestly, this banner is pretty solid. It is a very good banner, and, you know, it is worth gems and tickets. Is it worth a pity? Probably not, you know, despite how powerful ALPHINAUD is, but it is definitely an excellent banner overall. So that is going to be my overall thoughts about the EX realizations and this banner for ALPHINAUD and Ida. We're going to go ahead and talk about the boss fight, which is the Chaos difficulty boss fight for those glow lizards. The Chaos difficulty boss fight for the ALPHINAUD Lost Chapters features the return of the pair of glow lizards. Both of them have an immunity to the attack down, defense down, initial brave down, and max brave down debuffs. They are also both 4 times resistant to range brave damage. For this fight, both bosses will immediately have their Guard Resonance aura active, which is indicated by the yellow aura surrounding them. While this is active, they will drastically reduce the amount of brave damage they receive. Guard Resonance is removed if they are broken, but will be reapplied during certain HP thresholds. They both primarily use magic brave attacks with some inflicting debuffs such as initial brave and defense down. They also have abilities with a high turn rate if they manage to break or attack a broken party member. They also have abilities that recover their brave before they even initiate their attacks. The synergy characters can do very well for this fight, as Celeste can taunt and absorb magic brave damage, Ida can deal massive damage and apply her poison debuff, and ALPHINAUD can also apply a poison effect with his Shadow Flare unique buff. Other characters that can do well are characters with a gravity-based brave attack, such as X-Death. If you plan on bringing a range damage dealer, you will definitely want to bring a character that can both enchant and imperil, such as Lulu. This concludes my video for the upcoming ALPHINAUD Lost Chapters in Global Opera Omnia. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. Don't forget to check out all the useful links in the video description and pinned comments down below, and be sure to consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss out on new videos. This is 40, the Broadway Saiyan, signing out. Mahal, everyone.